Okay, hey guys, this is part 2 of my MSW logo. So here are super procedures. Now I'll show you awesome. Here is awesome. That is basically a big square with little squares repeating. What I did for that is I cleared screen, then I did square 1 and all square. Again, as I told you before, you can run programs inside of programs. All square 1 is repeat 4 times FD 200 RT90, and I have square 2, and I have up to square 12. I have 12 different squares, and they're different sizes, going by like I think 10s by 10s or something, and that's what it is. And then square 1 left turn 90 box, and to box it's just square 3, 4, and 5, so smaller than bigger than bigger. And then RT90 forward 200 box, and then it just does that a few times. I could have done repeat, I just didn't want to. And that's just telling it to do a square, and then at every corner do box, which is right here. That's kind of simple. Squares, because square is probably the most simple shape, unless you consider a line the shape. Then a line is the simplest shape, but a square is pretty much the most simple shape and logo. Awesome 2 is really nothing. It's just the same thing, a little bit bigger. Oh, and also, if you have this minused out and you're in here and you click a doll, it'll pop up saying running multiple edit sessions is for expert mode only. Just say okay. It really doesn't mean anything. And it'll just open it up. And then cat is actually short for caterpillar. No, I like to keep my names for my programs pretty short. I don't know what the limit is for the name, but I mean, I can type in flower space garden, so I mean, I wouldn't go very far because then it's just hard to memorize. But also, if you did a program and then you saved it, then you opened a new one, and you opened a new MSW logo and did other programs, you have to open if you want to run the old program, you have to open up that old program, or you can go into the old program, click a doll, and then copy the code and paste it into this doll, and you can type in that program. Now cat is pretty complicated. It's short for caterpillar. If I type it in, there is a caterpillar. I mean, the shapes aren't complicated, but it's a complicated code. It's really long. I mean, I probably could have used repeats, I don't know where, but I don't think so because a lot of stuff is different. Clear screen, PU, I don't know if I told you in the last thing, but PU is pin up. So if I say forward 40, then PU, and then forward 40 again, and then, and then pin down, and then forward 40, it'll make a line. And I don't know what happened to my little triangle. Let me check my code real quick, because I know there's a way to get away your triangle, but I forget what it is. I think it's like T, I don't know, but there's some way to get away your triangle, and I just did. But caterpillar is really long. It's just telling it to do boxes, then turn certain degrees, and do different size boxes. Then the tail was actually pretty complicated because I didn't want the little square to be on the top. I wanted it to be at the bottom and on the left, not the right. And that was not the most complicated part. The most complicated part was the eyes and the mouth. I'd have to say that was the most complicated part of this procedure, because if I go to cat, as you can see, I had to go like exactly in the middle and do these even, and that was hard to position my turtle right, especially when you don't have a turtle. I think it's turtle away, T down, T. I don't know. I'll have to figure that out. But I forgot how I did that. I know I learned it a while ago, but I forget how. Um, and that's just a caterpillar, and that's squares. I mean, I have better ones. Like here's Coolio. That's basically enlarged version of how I made the square with these and smaller version around the edges. This is a large close-up picture of those things. I just told it to do forward longer, and then if you do forward longer when you're doing repeats, it will just make everything bigger, and that's how you make stuff bigger. So flags, that was actually pretty hard. Let me type that in for you guys. That is a bunch of square flags meeting at the center, and it was pretty hard doing that. The code for that was, let me find it. 1 second. Flags. After I figured out what it was, I didn't have to do it anymore, but it took a while for me to figure out what the code I had to punch in was. And what it was is repeat 12 times, since there are 12 flags, forward 80, square 4, which is just a small square, BK 80, BK, I didn't tell you guys, is backwards, and it just moves your guy backwards, and then RT 30, and it just repeats that. And basically what it's telling you to do is, if you follow my mouse, go up, make the box, and then it'll come back right here, go backwards, right turn a little bit so it's pointing in this direction, and then do that again, and it just repeats that 12 times. It took me a while to figure out the right angle so they wouldn't overlap, because if I say flags, as you can see, it's RT30. Say I did RT10. If I say file, save and exit. If I say clear screen, flags, as you can see, that is a cool design, but it's not really what I want. I wanted them all not overlapping, so just show you pretty complicated stuff. So play around and do different designs and see what you can do, and then check out part 3. But yeah, so let's go over to part 3. Bye guys.